Welcome to the Scaling Success Stories. I have here with me Debbie Gartner from The Flooring Girl. Debbie, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your business?
Sure. Yeah, my site is theflooringgirl.com, or my main site is theflooringgirl.com. I actually just bought another one. So a couple weeks ago, that's officially ours. But I used to have my own business, a local flooring business. It was Shop at Home. And I originally started my site to just get local customers. That's it. And it worked very well. So I was able to get about 5 customer appointments a week pretty quickly. And I just continued to blog. So I blogged about what I knew very well, which is flooring, all things flooring, hardwood, sanding and refinishing, carpet and runners. And that's basically, did. I'm no longer really doing flooring, although I occasionally do it. But I turned that into that website that was already doing very well. I turned it into my now online business. So,
Great.
yeah.
Thank you.
I'm an expert in flooring, and because of that, what I write is not only from the heart, but very importantly, it's technically correct, unlike some of the incorrect information I find all the time, which drives me nuts. So I've been doing that for, 12 years or so. So I know a lot of it like the back of my hand.
Great. So you started your business to try and get customers for your brick and mortar business way back when. Was it 2012? Is that when you started, or?
No, I started that in 2008.
2008. Okay, I don't know where I thought that year was from. So how does your passion?
Oh, because I've been doing it for 12 years.
Oh, maybe that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, I really only wanted local customers because I had no way to service all these people across the country. So I would write blog posts on the questions that my customers had. And as I got better and better, I would write it more for the types of customers that I really wanted. For example, I prefer higher end customers that have, larger houses and more money and everything like that. So you start to learn what are the questions that they have versus what are the questions that the general public has. So I would start to tailor some of my articles towards them. So I only wanted them, but by accident, my blog kept growing because I had a SEO. So I got to well over 100,000 page views without monetizing at all. I did not even know monetization was a thing, nor was I trying to do it, nor was I trying to get traffic. I simply wanted those local people. And as I wrote for them, it brought in the rest of the country.
And so your passion for answering your customers' questions, how does that still drive your business growth today?
So I always enjoyed doing the sales calls because they were not sales calls. They were basically consultations. So I was basically advising my customers on what to do and explaining it to them, because I always wanted to empower people, especially women, because there are lots of dishonest contractors out there, and they either don't tell you what they should, they just leave out a lot of stuff and just, hey, what do you want? Tell me what you want. Okay, I'll do that. For me, I would understand what they really wanted, then advise them on colors and styles and what type of polyurethane, and understand their needs and explain why one might be better than the other for their particular situation. So it's more of a consultative sale, if that makes sense. So I enjoyed doing that. My customers were very curious. They would always say, oh, the other guys didn't tell me that. Or it's so different talking to a woman or a girl, whatever they wanted to use. And so it was just a very different experience. So I would help them with the colors, give them other design advice while I was there, and I just enjoyed it. And I guess a lot of that is because the feedback that I would get. So I felt that I was providing extra value to them. So now that just continues in all the posts that I write. So I write them trying to teach people and show people. I write about paint colors now as well as flooring. Those are really my 2 specialty areas. And then I have several articles that take the 2 together. So if you have dark hardwood floors, what paint colors should you use, or what paint colors go well with this, that sort of thing, and working them together. So I get so much positive feedback. I mean, even on my blog, I get tons of comments. I mean, and questions. I can't even keep up with them. I am now 800, more than 800 comments behind. You know, people would send emails. People pay me for my advice, even when I don't even ask them. So I have a buy me a coffee button, and random strangers just buy me a coffee, or they'll buy me 3 coffees or 5 coffees or whatever. And now I also do some design consultations on the phone, and just hearing people's voices and their advice, and they're so surprised when I call and I say, I'm the flooring girl, like, oh my God, it's you. And I've had random people in coffee shops come up to me too. They recognize me. So I had some guy from Long Island in a coffee store. He was like, oh, I know you. You're the flooring girl. I'm like, what? He's like, I've been reading your blog. I do home improvement. So it's been very helpful in my project. And then another time in a coffee shop, I had to go to the bathroom. So I asked someone to watch my computer, and she gave me the weirdest look. And I was like, don't worry, I'll be really quick. I promise. And I come back, she's like, I'm sorry if I gave you the weirdest look. It's like, I was just reading your blog yesterday. And I realized I made the connection because I have a sticker on my computer that's for branding that has flooring on there. I just realized that you were the right person. My mom and I were reading your blog. Can I sit next to you and ask you some questions? And then her mom calls. She's like, oh my God, you're not going to believe who I'm talking to. And I had someone else randomly in the city. It's like, oh, you're like internet famous. I'm like, am I?
That's funny.
You just get a lot of really positive feedback. And a lot of this stuff was years ago, before I was even as big as, you know, what I am now. So it feels.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've had someone buy a coffee for me before, and it's a great feeling.
Oh my God, it is.
Yeah.
It's like $3, and you don't even care about the $2.61 that you get. It's the fact that they went out of their way and bought you a coffee, and then they leave you a nice note, and then you can respond to that. But I think I have almost 1,200 coffees at this point.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I think it's $11.98. So.
Now, you mentioned that you had reached 100,000 page views, you know, before you started to monetize. At what point did you realize that your business was taking off and that you could make money from it?
Oh, yeah. So I had no idea at the beginning. So I had some bad circumstances in life. Mm-hmm. So without going into details, because I have a non-compete, I basically had to part ways with my former franchise. And I had a 2-year non-compete, so I was not allowed to do flooring for 2 years. So I was basically out of business and in debt, $68,000 in debt, without a means of income, living in a very, very high cost of living area right outside New York City. And I didn't know what to do. Now, thankfully, I had learned about a year before that you could make some money from your blog. So I wanted to try to make that work. I did not know at that point that it would work. I was just hoping and praying. And I did know that it would take a long time to make the money that I wanted. And of course, everything takes 3 times as long, and you see the results 3 times later.
Yes.
But yes, and you make 3 times less. But anyway, I took on 2 part-time jobs. So I was a freelancer. So I worked with some local businesses, and I did blogging and SEO for them because I knew how to do that. So at least I had some steady income coming in there. I was probably making $4,000 a month on that, and just doing that 12 hours a week. And then I basically begged someone for a job. So it was a painter who I worked with, and I used to refer a lot of business to him. And I said, can you please just hire me? Just part-time. I don't care. I'll take all the extra leads that come in. And he's like, it's January. Are you kidding me? Like, nobody pays for just home improvement while the snow is on the ground. But if you want, I'll train you. And then as we go on some leads, you'll get more. And so that's what I did. And that's how I learned painting even better, because I'm really good at decorating and doing the 2 together. So that's why I blog about that now. So I really did not know. And I took a risk, and I just hoped that it would pay off. And it took way, way longer than I expected. at the beginning, I was right off the bat, I made maybe $1,100 the first month. For a new blogger, they'd be thrilled. But for me, I was not, because I already had over 100,000 page views. And then I went up to 1,500. I'm like, yay, I'm making progress. And, it just flatlined for months. And I was like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Then I made it to 2,000 and flatlined. I'm like, oh my God, this is never going to work. What the heck am I thinking? And then at month 11, I started to make some money. So it went to like 3,300 or something. And then the next month it went to, I think, 4,100. And then I said, oh, maybe this can work. Like maybe keep doing, because I started to get it. It was the affiliate marketing that takes a while, because you have to learn how to write articles that will not only rank in Google, but that will bring in money and provide value to a customer, right? So you're not just fawning yourself saying, buy this product. I would write about the products that I actually use on my flooring business and that I actually recommend. So it wasn't about making stuff up or trying to find things. I knew the right stuff to use. And then from there, it just kept going up. And then finally, at maybe 18 months, I made around $10,000. And I thought, oh, yes, I can make this work. My other stuff is just bonus and, the painting commissions and all that sort of stuff. So then I hired a VA, just a little bit. And then the next day, there was a Google algorithm update.
Oh, no.
I was devastated. And seriously, it was like someone just burst the balloon. It was the first time that something like that happened. Because for, 12 months, it was constant growth, gradual, but consistent. And then I went down to maybe $8,000. And that was really disappointing, because at $8,000, it's not enough money for me to just pay my bills. Forget about paying off all this debt. It just wasn't enough. But it came back 2 months later, and then it was, stronger than ever. And then the next month I got $11,000. And I knew at that point, I'm like, I can make it. So I can weather the storm at this point. And it's just learning that I need to continue to diversify more and build what I keep calling layers. I just keep trying to build more and more layers, so I'm more insulated, because Pinterest, we know, goes all over the place, all the time. SEO generally has been more consistent, but there are definitely, some twists and turns in there. Over the long run, I've always been going up, but, for the last, 9 years, it's not like that was the first time that I saw a hit, but it was the first time it actually impacted my income. So it was new learning there. So I knew at that point when I hit $11,000 after that return that I can make it work.
And at what point did you realize that you were living the life you wanted to?
I don't think I am quite living the life that I do at this point, because I have so much in debt, but I feel that I can make it. So that has taken off a lot of stress. So I got through the $68,000 of immediate debt. I did that on April 1st. That's when I paid off that last bill and transferred all the money the way it needed to be. But I still have this $160,000 loan from before, and it's like a ticking time bomb. So it has to be paid by 2022 September. And I don't know if that's September 1st or September 30th. So I'm now making progress on that. I have that down at 151,000. And if I continue doing what I'm doing, I can pay it off. And at that point, then, in a little over 3 years, I will be living the life that I want. Now, in regards to what's going on now, I feel very comfortable in my income and that I will be there, because the last 3 months I've made more than $20,000 a month. This month, I may only hit 19. We'll see. I'm going to try to get it to 20. But at those rates, I know that I can pay it off, and I might even be able to pay it off faster and then have some money to enjoy myself. But I am no longer where I was 2.5 years ago, where it's like, oh my God, I am about to lose my house. Oh my God, how do I pay my mortgage? Oh my God, I don't have enough money to go to Starbucks to network with a client. Oh my God, I don't know if I can pay for my gas. So it's just night and day, and that is a huge stress relief. So now I do have some money to go to Starbucks. I probably have enough for maybe $500 a month for myself. So see, I got my hair done yesterday.
Looks
Second
good.
time in 2.5 years, even 3 years. Of course, it's rainy and humid, so it looks crappy, but it was good yesterday.
Awesome. Now, you mentioned that you have started outsourcing and that you had hired a VA. So one of the biggest fears of outsourcing that I found is that it takes a lot of trust to have the people run the business the way you would. How did you overcome this, and where did you find the right freelancers to help you grow your business?
Right. So first of all, I have several freelancers who help me in various different ways, each with their own specialty and each as they come up with new tasks to do. So I think we all know at a certain point that it's the right thing to do because you need to scale your business. You cannot do this all by yourself. It's just impossible. And I knew that from my last business because my smartest hire that I made was when I hired a VA that time to just answer the phones. And it was such a stress relief. And within 2 weeks, it paid for itself. So I knew that from a monetary standpoint, that was the right thing. In my old business, I actually had 4 VAs. I call them marketing assistants, but same thing. So I basically had started that at first person at maybe 10 hours a week or something. So I couldn't afford to pay, but I couldn't afford not to pay. So I said, well, let me at least give it a shot. I'll try it for a month or 3 months. And I did the math on how much it would be. What's the worst that could happen to me? Okay, well, that's not so bad. As long as I just sell one more flooring job, I will be okay. So it was the same concept here, but then you also have the issue of how do you feel comfortable outsourcing it to someone, as well as what. So for me, the first person that I hired was someone that I knew. So I do, and used to do this much more, but I don't have much time, but I do SEO consultations. So I can tell on the phone how quickly people pick things up. And then a few of those people actually became really good friends. And one of them happened to be interested in, becoming a VA to get some extra income, which I think is a very smart thing to do. And clearly I did that myself to survive. So I was giving her advice, and then I got to a point, I'd hit a little over $10,000. Let me give this a shot. And I felt that I could trust her. So I just tried to figure out some tasks that I could give her to do, and then she did a good job, and then I did some others. So for some of my tasks, I do some of my posts, not my flooring posts, and not my painting posts, my other posts. I'll give them to her or someone else to write the first draft of, and I try to outline it so it makes it better, and then they do that. Then I SEO optimize it and do all the other stuff. And I had her doing some Pinterest pins, which she did a good job. I would say honestly that her Pinterest skills are about on par with mine. So we both do good things. So it wasn't a matter of I need someone to do it better. It's a matter of I need to free up my time so I can work on other higher income, activities. So I did that. Then I'm trying to remember the order, but I hired you at some point. So I can't remember now if you were number 2 or something. So, for you, I thought you did a really good job in networking online through Facebook groups. I could tell that you knew what you were talking about, but I wasn't ready at that point in time. And then maybe 2 to 3 months later, I was. So I just had my eye on you and other people. I pay attention as I go along.
Yeah.
So I have another person that's just a local friend. So I've known her for years, and she started blogging before me. So that was another person I have her doing some articles for me because she already knew how to blog. And then my other person, she just reached out to me, and I think she wanted to basically have some extra income coming in, but also, and I thought this was really smart, she wanted to learn from me, which everyone, there's so much more value than just the money you get from someone. What are they doing? How do I learn from that so I can improve my own blog? As a person who has services from other people, an extra value for me is the ideas they bring to me, and or keep recommending, and that's where the huge synergy comes in there for both people, in my opinion.
Awesome. And I know I found people in Facebook groups as well for outsourcing, and that's a great way. The referrals, they're the most common methods that I use.
Yeah, and there are many ways. For me, when I was a freelancer, I just did it through networking and not. I mean, there are people that I knew, and then I just say, okay, guys, like my friends, like help me. I'm about to lose my house. I was just open and honest about everything, because that's first of all who I am, and secondly, I had no choice. And then so one of my friends recommended me to someone in the city who needed help. And then someone who I knew online from another blogging platform. It turned out her husband needed help. And then we had a local blogging group here in my county. And then several people in there learned that I knew how to do SEO. So I would coach them on how to do it, or I would do their posts and optimize for what they already did. Combination.
Yeah. So a common myth is that as you grow and scale your business, you have to sell your soul to make money, especially when you venture into paid advertising. How do you debunk this myth in your business?
Yeah, so first, I never really heard that myth. I mean,
okay.
So I just didn't have that attitude. But I actually make money from ads. It's one of my pillars. So I probably make around $7,000 a month just from ads being on the site. And I see it as I have created a platform that has high value for people, including the advertisers. So, they're paying for my real estate, essentially. Mm-hmm. Now, that aside, I don't like having lots of ads because I think it takes away from the consumer experience. So I generally do not have ads in my content. So I have them on the sidebar and then at the bottom so that hopefully the user experience is better and hopefully it doesn't impact my SEO too much. I mean, in maybe a couple of years when I make more money, maybe I'll take the ads off. And I take the ads off of heavy affiliate things. So if I'm either making or planning or hoping to make good affiliate money on some posts, there are no ads. They're just like totally gone. Or my landing pages or my ebooks, there's no ads there. But despite just having those ads, I'm making $7,000. Now, I'm not a big fan of sponsored posts. That to me is where I feel that people sometimes feel like you're selling your soul there. And I have not done any sponsored posts. I'm not saying sponsored posts are right. I'm saying that they are wrong. I'm saying they are not for me because I'm an expert in my field. So a lot of the places that do sponsored posts, they're like cheap places like Home Depot or other places like that. And I will never use their products. And I tell people to stay away from those products because I know that they're terrible. So it would be a conflict of interest for me to do a sponsored post from places like that. And I want to be in charge of my content. And I don't want anyone else to be either. So that's kind of my philosophy on that. Now, I realize now that I might be able to do one or two that don't have a conflict there. So if it's something like Bona, as an example, I recommend Bona products all the time because they are the best. And they actually called me a couple weeks ago or so, and they want to do something. I don't know if that's what they want to do, but I would not have a problem with that because I believe in those products. And I might do a couple posts here and there because I have, relatively high domain authority, especially for my category, and people trust me, and I get a lot of traffic. So I get over 500,000 page views. So, I might do something for like $2,000 or $2,500. If it's lower, it's not worth my time, my real estate, because that has taken me years to achieve, is such a valuable asset. But I make more money from affiliate marketing than I do from ads. And I don't want the ads to detract. And I think affiliate marketing is much more stable. I also make money from my own products too. So at one point it was almost like 40%, 30%, 30%. I'm not sure what it looks like this month, but I'd rather be that way. I never want to be dependent on ads. Never. Because if my traffic goes down, if Google has like a heart attack or Pinterest or whatever, it's like, it's not a very sustainable means of making income. Plus, you can make much more income doing other things.
Yeah.
So marketing is much more profitable, and doing both. I think people that are just making money from ads, they are very vulnerable. And I've been through this long enough to know that things change all the time. You know, I even have I have an affiliate partner that's basically dying at this point. I need to replace the income, but thank goodness that's not the only thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So why do you think people fail to grow their businesses, and what advice would you offer them to keep pushing despite all the setbacks?
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, they need to expect that it's going to take a while, and need to expect that it's hard. A lot of people that come in seeing all these people making all this money, and they make it sound like it's easier to do than it is. And I will tell you, it's hard. I have worked my butt off to get to where I am. Now it's getting much easier for everything that I do, because getting back to the layers that I've been building, when I do one thing, it impacts the other things as well. So they need to go in with that expectation, not be misled by some of these bloggers who just want the affiliate sale on Bluehost. Bluehost pays more money, not because they're better. So they need to do that. The next thing is they need to write content that is relevant for their users. So you can't, a journal or diary or anything like that. They have to think with the end in mind. I am going to make money somehow. How am I going to do that? Now, how am I going to make that work for my user? It's just like okay. So the people who own the television networks, they're not making money on the actual show, right? They make money from the ads that are on there, but they can't just put ads on all the time. If their content stinks, which are their TV shows, I mean, this is why soap operas were created a long time ago. So to go with people were doing their laundry and everything like that. I know this random stuff, please, B&G. But anyway, yeah, so your content is, you're giving the value to your user, and then you are telling them or advising them the right thing to do. And for me, when I think about flooring, and I think about all these contractors that screw their customers and will tell them to use this polyurethane or this stain because it's easier for them, meaning the contractors, or it's cheaper for them, that is not the right thing to do. Figure out the need, tell people that, and then while you're at it, have other things that then make you money. The ads itself will not make you that much money. I mean, I don't want to give up $7,000, but if you look at people that are just making money from ads and you look at their actual RPM for the page, based on their page views, meaning the total amount of revenue they're getting from affiliate products, whatever, they are making so much less. And that means that they need to work so much harder to get to $1,000 or $20,000 or whatever the heck it is. So they need to focus on that. They need to diversify. For me, the key has been SEO and search engine optimization, obviously. So that was the first thing I did when I started blogging. Pinterest wasn't even really around. I mean, I think there was a Pinterest, but it was private at that point in time. And then when it became public, it did not drive traffic the way it does now. So SEO was the key to everything. So I'd recommend people learn that, by month 3. I get at the very beginning, just get stuff out there. Like, get used to writing and do it. And then from there, you'll realize, okay, here's what needs to be improved. And then the SEO becomes much more meaningful. When I first started blogging back in 2010, I did not know how to blog. In fact, I hated writing. So I did this 30 blog posts and 30-day challenge, and it just got me out of it. And it worked. And some of the times I would write stuff like, it wasn't on my own blog, but somewhere else. So I'd write, I got pulled over by a policeman, blah, blah, blah. Nothing to do with flooring, or here's a really funny sign I saw. But then in there, I would put in flooring posts. It got me in the habit, and it made blogging so much easier. From there, it was all about now. Not how do I do more blogging, how do I do better blogging? Because I am not going to blog every day. I think most people that do, they burn out and they spend a lot of time with little return.
Yeah, it's very true. And you're someone, that's in a very specific niche. You know, a lot of people think, oh, you know, to make money online, like you have to teach people how to make money online. And there's a lot of people doing that,
Right.
you know, who shouldn't be. So how important has niching been to your business growth and profitability?
Okay, so first of all, I think that it's much easier when you have a niche, however you want to define that niche, because it allows you to rank better and faster on Google. You have more authority on that. You're able to actually write your posts better because you are an authority. You know, when I start straying outwards and going to other things, I'm not an expert in those. I'm more of a novice. So I can provide much more value to my customer by being more niche and being the expert. Same on Pinterest. It's actually easier to do better on Pinterest, especially now when you have a niche, because followers themselves don't really matter. So it's not about getting more followers. It's about naturally having more followers follow you because they like your content. So if I'm writing about painting and home decor, and then I start writing about how to save money, like two completely needs and often two different audiences. So a lot of people that want to do home decor, they may have money. They own their own house. Like they own their own house and they're not all about saving money. Some of them certainly are, but they're different needs. And as consistent as I am with that, the better off I'm going to do. Because if they start seeing my feed of how to make money online or how to start a blog or how to make money on the stock market, it doesn't even matter. But as long as it's a different topic, it's not relative to them. So then they tune out, then my engagement goes down, and then people don't follow me or even unfollow me. So the more targeted you are, the better off. Now, all that aside, I did not niche down. I actually niched up, okay, which is the opposite of what everybody else is talking about. So I started with flooring, and then I found it challenging to monetize flooring from an affiliate standpoint because flooring is sold locally, and it's not available on Amazon. And there's almost next to no affiliate partners out there that work or that will work with someone in New York because I'm a Nexus. Mm-hmm. Painting and flooring go together, and I know that because all the time when I'm doing estimates for flooring, people want to do painting too, and vice versa. So I started doing that, and I started broadening so I could find products on Amazon and other places that just worked better than just the flooring. So I blog about both, but I just expanded. But still, it's relatively niche. It's home decor, right? I do have some blog posts on my blogs. I have an SEO book and this and that. I may have 4 or 5 other articles, but they are hidden. So if I'm a regular person coming in, because, you know, if I got 500,000 visitors a month coming in to learn about home decor, and I start putting stuff out there like how to start a blog or all that stuff that you see on other people's sites, it makes no sense. Mm-hmm. Why cater to less than 1% of my traffic versus the other 500,000? It's senseless to me. So I think you can do much better. You can rank much better in both places, and you establish more trust with the user. And, you know, like I said, you're the expert. So how many things can I learn in life? I mean, yeah, I was really good at math and science, but I'm not going to blog about that.
Yeah, that's very true. So what do you attribute your success to, and how do you explain it? Do you think the same strategies will help you reach your next goals?
Okay, so that's 2 different questions. So the key to my success has quite frankly been SEO. That's what got me to the growth. It's so much better. People that are Googling information, they are actively searching for the information. They are more in buying mode. They are more inquisitive. They stay on my page longer. They are more likely to subscribe to my email list. Do you have to go?
No, you're good. Keep going. No, you're good.
Okay. So if I had an email list for them, they would be more likely to subscribe. And they're just worth more. They leave more comments. I mean, I get so many comments, and there are people who are actually decorating. And they're like, okay, I have this on my floors and this on my cabinets, so what paint color should I use? Or do you think this would look good with that? But they're like about to do a project. They are actively seeking the information, and that's where I want to be. I get a lot of traffic from Pinterest too. I maybe get 200,000 pages, but those people are not worth as much to me. Like for every page view on organic traffic, I get $3 more than every page view on Pinterest. So where do I want to spend my time? On SEO. And it is much more passive. And once you get to a certain point, you spend less time doing it. I only write like one post a week or so. And sometimes I will skip 3 or 4 weeks in there. But the blog keeps growing. Pinterest is a way to jumpstart my Google traffic. So since I use that, I will often get ranked on page 1 faster. It usually shaves off 2 to 4 months to get to page 1. I have certain things that have gotten there in 2 to 3 weeks. I had one that got there in 1 day, which I could not believe. But that's doing a long-tail search, which is a good thing to do. So that has really been my key. Now, going forward, I think, first of all, that SEO will always, for me, be a key thing to move forward, because all you need to do is keep writing new blog posts with it, especially ones that are monetized, as long as I can come up with enough topics to write about, because I don't want to write about the same thing. And then I think my next step and what I've been doing is diversifying my income streams, creating products. So I have my 2 SEO books. I'm working on another one starting like a couple of days ago, and I have another one, the one that you had recommended I do. I want to try to do that right after that, and I have a few other ideas, and trying to do some home decor products and printables and things like that. And then I'm also trying email, but for blogging and SEO. And I bought another site, as I mentioned. So the other site allows me to do some blogging about blogging. And I don't want to be one of those same people. It's like, oh, you need to start a blog and buy my hosting and blah, blah, blah. It's more like blogging tips and more for affiliate sort of marketing, so I can help the people that have already created great products. So I don't want to put out, oh, here's the course on how to do affiliate marketing or how to get started blogging. It's not me. I don't want to compete with all my friends. I'd rather, because it's a win-win. Because I can just promote something that, another person, if it's a great product that I believe in, I prefer to promote them rather than create it from scratch and do my own. Because if I'm making 40% commission on that versus putting in all the effort, and then I make, after you take out all the PayPal fees, I might end up making, 55%. I'd rather just leverage someone else, and then I make a commission on that. They win because they've sold the product, and then they're more likely to promote my stuff because we blog on different products. So that's my philosophy. So I'm starting to do more of that, and I'm starting to do email for more of a blogging and SEO sort of audience. I think those are kind of the next things.
Cool. So to scale, you really need a systemized business. What steps have you taken to build those systems, and how do you optimize them?
Okay, so that's really hard, and I'm still doing it. So steps that I've taken are hiring some VAs, as you know, and that helps because I can give them more repeatable tasks or tasks that they can do equally as well as I can. So I have more time to work on the stuff that only I can do. So I can't just be like, oh, write this post about flooring, because they would know, they can't. And so that is one step. Another step is planning out what I work on. So I'm just doing basically one blog post per week. I'm trying to get 2 of those done by someone else, so then it doesn't take time. I'm not spending as much time on Pinterest because it has lower return, but Pinterest is still important. As I said, it helps my SEO.
Yep.
And spending more time on my products, rearranging how I'm doing stuff to get better. So at one point I said, okay, only project for the day so I can focus, because when you're doing many things, you got switching costs and distractions, and everything it takes 3 times longer than you think it's going to, so you don't get to all the other things. Now I'm at the point where it's like one project per week, and that is it. I can do a few little minor, things that may take me an hour here or there, but not more than one of those per day. So that's what I do.
Cool. And so
suggestions on what I should do. I'm not at the point where I can totally hire out from a VA standpoint because I need to make a little bit more money, because I always have bills to pay.
Yeah.
But any other suggestions that you have?
I mean, I think the key is, as you've started doing, is documenting, all of the processes, all the steps. And you mentioned, making it routine. There's like in business, and when it comes to outsourcing, I say there's like routine workers and there's specialized workers. And, so the routine workers, the more that you can make your tasks repeatable and routine, you'll get away. I don't know if get away is the right term, but you'll be able to hire freelancers at less of an hourly or project rate, for the routine tasks, because they can be completed by anyone. It's the specialized tasks that require more, not only more money, but more time, more expertise, more knowledge. And that's something that, from your perspective, you have a very specialized knowledge. And so it can be challenging to hire, people for content and things like that. But, the Pinterest side of things, like that's something, that's much easier. And so it's, I think the important thing is to look at your business, and this goes to anyone, and see what is it that can be repeated? What is it, that can be outsourced? Okay. Now, once I've figured out what that can be, then the question becomes, can I outsource it? Do I have the budget that I would need, to appropriately do that? And if not, then that's okay. But let me figure out how I can optimize that process in the meantime so that when I'm ready, I can find someone quickly to do it, or I'll know, the right place, to onboard it. Or maybe, if you've never hired before, figuring out an onboarding system, because that's something that can take quite a bit of time, getting acclimated to a brand. It's not easy. And the more money that you make as a business, the more that you have to protect. One freelancer, that goes rogue can really destroy that progress that you have. So it's something that's really important. I think, document your SOPs, your standard operating procedures, and then, develop some sort of a process to onboard people, whether it's if you sign contracts, have that in order, figure out a rate or ask the freelancer for their rate, sort of have that done, but know how the payment process will go. I think that's important. Usually it's up to the freelancer, but sometimes it's on the contractor. And then really just figuring out how to optimize your processes from then on. I think that's
And to that point, like I've started to get more organized with my week too. So like I have what I'm calling office hours or admin, Wednesdays 1 to 4. So that's when I try to go through all my bills of what I need to do, QuickBooks, make sure that people are paid on those as well. So I might transfer the money into my PayPal account so it's there. So then on the next Wednesday, I can do that, go through my mail, like just my personal, crap. And then, talk to my VAs, like this is your chance if you've got questions, like call me during this time. So I get interrupted too much. It's gotten much better, but I used to get way too many Facebook messages. And the beeping would drive me crazy. Now I've learned how to turn off the beeping so it doesn't bother me as much, but still. And it's like I'm so honored that people want to ask me questions and want my help and love my opinion, but I can't get my own work done. So by mentalizing, be like, okay, I'm going to have 3 hours a week of chaos. Facebook messages, talking to people on the phone, going through my bills, all the stuff I hate doing. But I can suck it up there. And then the rest of the week, I'm going to work on my own stuff. And the other thing I try to do at times is like be disciplined and lay out, okay, from 10 to 11, it's this. And from 11 to 12, I'm going to work on this. And it could all be related to the same main project. Like I'm now working on an ebook, so it could be like, chapter 1, it's going to be between 10 and 12, and then just putting the stupid timer on my phone, and be like, hey, time's up, take a break.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
and
so I'm still learning my way through it.
We all are. It never stops. And so my last question is, if you could speak face to face with yourself when you first started your business, what pearls of wisdom, what words of advice would you have?
I mean, I guess I would say this for me, but it's going to be okay. Like, calm down, relax, know what you're doing. It takes time, because I stressed about money so much. My first year was like the worst because I was so in debt. And if I knew then what I know now, like how much money I'm making, that I can make, like $22,000 a month, I would have gotten so much more sleep, and I would have been so much more productive, and maybe I would have gotten there faster. I mean, some of the thing with blogging is it's not just how much time you spend on it, it's actually elapsed time. So you need your posts to have time to simmer. But then the more distracted you are, the less productive you are as well. So I think I would tell myself it's going to be all right. I promise. I know it will be. I think that would be my big advice to myself. Not necessarily to, because I have a really strong work ethic and I knew it could work. And I myself get overly stressed about things more so than other people. Other people are more relaxed about it and they don't need to hear that advice.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me today. Where can people find you?
The main place is theflooringgirl.com. Then the new site that we have that we bought from a friend is called healthysavvyandwise.com. And hopefully the site will look better in later today. It goes smoothly. So WordPress had an update, conflicted with our theme, and all of our links turned gold. And
oh, lovely.
Yeah. So I'm crossing my fingers that maybe by after lunch it will be okay and we can make money again on there. But yeah, that's the thing. You have to prepare for setbacks because they will happen. And they're all different, so yours could be a Pinterest setback, or it could be an affiliate that goes out of business, or God forbid that Amazon changes their affiliate rates again because they've only done it a few times. So I would expect that stuff to happen. And on Amazon, for me, like I make $7,000 a month. So if that happens, that's a big thing. But if I'm making more money on my my products and through my email list, or also through Pinterest, like usually these things happen, but they don't usually all happen at once. This month is one of my I have the most setbacks or non-repeated things ever because, Google went down. Thankfully for me, it only went down a little, like maybe 12% or something, but
not terrible.
No, it's not. And my affiliate income didn't have that much of an impact. So it's only the page views, So maybe my affiliate income went down 4 or 5% from that SEO thing. So that's not terrible. Annoying, but not terrible. But then I also last month ran a sale on my books at some point. So now there are fewer people buying the books, still much more than I expected. I had a program that is only once a quarter, so I don't have that happening now. And I have an affiliate program that is dying. I used to make maybe $2,200 a month on it. And over the last year or so, it's gradually gone down. And so last month it was 500 and now it's like 150. And, but you have to adapt. I mean, if this happened to me, last year, I'd be freaking out, But now I'm like, okay, at least I'm still making $19,000. I want to see if I can get it up. And it just means I need to build more and more layers. If I have another product that comes out, I'm making some money from my email list, I just need to build up the layers. I'll get some more blog posts. because that's what happens is over time, you have more content out there. Some of it fails, some of it does well, but you have more. So when these things happen, it doesn't impact you as much.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for
You're welcome.
participating in the series, and we will chat soon.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yep. Thanks. Bye. Thanks for having me.
Of course.